Something that you may or may have not figured out about me at this point in time, whether this is your first episode, welcome, or you've listened to several episodes, is that I am actually a very avoidant person. I'm highly avoidant personality for things that freak me out. I love avoiding conflict to all ends and uncomfortable conversations, even when I absolutely know that they must happen. I hate delivering tough feedback. I don't like starting projects at work that feel like a weird void of uncertainty and confusion. Welcome to STEMdenity. I know that wasn't the most positive episode, beginner, but don't you worry, we're going to turn this train right around. That's not a great analogy. I don't think trains easily turn around, but that's okay. We're going to get this back on track. Because I'm your host, Anna Hodshire. I have a PhD in atmospheric chemistry. I'm currently an assistant professor of systems engineering at Colorado State University. As always, this podcast, not a part of my teaching research roles, but a part of my ability and belief that we have amazing jobs that we should love. But sometimes it's hard to love them because we don't dig into the things that we don't necessarily talk about enough or even at all. So today's episode is going to be all about things that I feel like we kind of know we should do, but it's not really talked about. So I'm excited. This episode is going to be the follow-up, the level up, the next step to an episode I posted about a month ago. So if you haven't listened to it, check it out. The concept isn't that hard. You'll catch on really quickly. And it's my next messy step episode. So I'll link that in the show notes. I think the title is something different because I was like, ooh, I'm going to hide the hook. I'm not going to tell you it's next messy step in the title. It's something like how to quickly get over avoidance and perfectionism. So check out that episode in the show notes. What was next messy step? Well, basically, I've found in my life that it's incredibly helpful to get past perfectionism or freeze. So perfectionism, I really want this to be really, really good or perfect. Freeze, I don't know what to do next. Really helpful to get past that by just reminding myself all I need to do is one little next messy step. I mean, it doesn't have to be a great step. It doesn't have to be a perfect step. It doesn't have to be the right step, even. Sometimes, right, you take a step and it's a mistake. That's okay. Just need to take one next messy step. So I posted the episode, and as promised, I did a personal 30-day challenge and posted it on Instagram every day, either in my stories or my reels. So if you go back into my Instagram history, STEMdenity, you can find some of those stories to get some examples. But in case you weren't watching or it's sometime in the future and it's just too hard to go back that far in Instagram, I get it. Some things that I did they felt bigger, right? It was kind of a big next messy step. Like I had to write up a one pager of, hey, this is what I would propose to your program, to your program manager, if you are interested. And I had to send that out. And that was one of my next messy steps. Some felt maybe more medium sized, like I have a class that I need to prepare, a brand new class that I need to prepare in the fall. And I literally found and blocked out a week of time to work on my class in late July. Very excited about that. Others were reviewing and contributing to a co-author paper. Yeah, it was the day after the co-author had asked for it back, but you know what? It was one day late. They gave a very polite reminder email. I apologized. I immediately found the time because I was just working on something that wasn't as urgent. Found the time, got it done, got it out the door, felt good about that. Another medium-sized step maybe would be writing a new chapter in the book that I'm working on, my fiction book that I'm working on in my spare time. Spare time. In the time that I choose to use for writing. Some next messy steps were really small. Like I went on vacation during this time. And so one day I went for a really great hike and I literally had no useful thoughts, just vibes, just out there. Pretty much my thoughts were either, wow, this part of the hike is hard because it was indeed a hike that had some hard bits. Or my thoughts were, free nature. This is really nice. And that was actually really cool because I often try to use hikes to think about, either a creative project I'm working on or an issue I'm having at work, which is great. And I have a lot of good ideas during those times, but also sometimes it's amazing to just let my brain do nothing, be out there doing its thing. Another next messy step was unpacking the day I got back after that trip. Not a big deal, but gosh, the alternative was my suitcase was going to sit there for days to weeks and just be super annoying. Next messy steps are awesome. Next messy steps are the way to go if you're feeling frozen, if you're feeling like you're getting stuck in some perfectionism loop, like I can't possibly do something until, it's perfect. This podcast is a testament to next messy step. I know that not every episode is a winner. I know that not every episode is going to just light you personally up, right? It's going to be a bit of a pick and choose. I also know that the production quality isn't perfect. We try our best. We do a little editing on the back end. Thank goodness. Apparently, I breathe like a hurricane. Really need to find a mic that helps out with that. But right, it's not This American Life. It's not Mel Robbins. It's not Ologies. It's a podcast, and I'm doing my best, and I'm excited, and I get it out there every week. And damn, that's awesome. So excited about that. That being said, next messy step isn't always enough, especially if you, like me, are a very avoidant person. If you're like, yeah, I too would rather just sort of live in uncomfortable silence for the next 8 months than have this uncomfortable conversation that might not even turn into an argument with the person I live with or the person I share an office with or whatever it is, right? So for us, avoidance and everyone else out there, I think it can help both styles of personalities. By the way, if you are not an avoidant person, please reach out to me on Instagram or LinkedIn, STEM Identity, Anna Lily Hodshire. I swear I know how to say my name. And just be like, hey, this is how I do it. Because I need to know your secrets. How do you not just avoid the things that you don't want to do? It's crazy. All right. Anyways, so this month I am leveling up next messy step and bringing it to 20 seconds of courage. All right. Now, this might sound familiar to some of you. I did not know that this is where it was from until I Googled it this morning. I've been hearing 20 seconds of courage through other channels. I do a lot of personal development type of work, not necessarily through scientists or engineers. I find other communities that have really interesting things to say. I don't agree with some of what they have to say. I filter it out and I find it works for me. That's what everybody should be doing with advice, right? Don't just blindly take in all advice. So this 20 seconds of courage thing apparently seems to come from the 2011 film We Bought a Zoo, which I've never seen, but now I think I should watch because it sounds adorable. So the main character, Benjamin Mee, who's played by Matt Damon, says, quote, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage. Just literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery. And I promise you, something great will come of it. So if you don't believe me, believe Matt Damon. Would that face lie to you? I don't think so. 20 seconds of courage. It's awesome. So what is 20 seconds of courage? It's literally just you have spent the perfect hour crafting the most amazing reach out email to that person that you would like to collaborate with, and you don't want to push send. You have written the paper that you're going to submit to the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, PNAS, and you don't want to finish the submission. It's those things that final step sometimes, or that next step sometimes, that all of a sudden this, whatever it is you're working on, goes from it's just me and no one can look at it to shit, now someone can look at it. It's you've drafted your first draft of that very important project report, or your first academic paper, or your 20th academic paper, and you still don't want to hit send on the email to your next in command, your collaborator, your co-author, your advisor, whoever it is that needs to see it next. Because it does not matter how perfect you think something is. You could be like, this is the best thing that has ever graced this good earth. You send it to another human being on this earth with the implicit or explicit direction, hey, I would like some feedback on this. And they will give you some feedback that is not just, this is the most perfect thing I have ever seen on God's green earth. I don't know how you did it. Publish immediately, right? There's always going to be something that could be better, something that could be different. And maybe it's not even better or different. It's just that person has a different perception, a different background, a different history, a different lens on the problem that you're working on. And they're just going to have input. And, input might not feel that great. And that's probably a whole other episode for itself. But getting over that, I just don't want to send it out into the world, the thing, my baby. I don't want people to look at it. You just got to hit send. or I just don't want to reach out because this person is probably going to reject me. You just got to hit send. Just like dating apps, right? I've been on dating apps on and off. Really glad I'm not on them anymore. But it felt sort of the same, right? You're like, okay, this person seems cool based on their very limited profile. I'm gonna match with them. Are they gonna match back with me? 20 seconds of courage. Oh, they reached out to me. Okay, great. I'm gonna start a conversation. Okay, another 20 seconds of courage. Oh, okay, they're like nearby and they seem kind of cool, and I'm not getting any like psycho killer vibes. So I guess I'm gonna meet them for a drink or a walk or something. Another 20 seconds of courage, right? Dating is all about 20 seconds of courage. And that's kind of, I feel like that's expected, at the beginning, but maybe we just don't think of it that way in our STEM jobs in science, engineering, mathematics. We are not just sitting there being like, okay, sometimes I just got to do the thing that really freaks me out. Here's another analogy for you. So because I said, so next messy step and 20 seconds of courage, I feel like these go really hand in hand. Next messy step gives you that momentum. It keeps you going forward. You signed up for the gym membership and now you're like, well, I haven't actually been to the gym and I don't really want to go to the gym. So the next messy step could be, okay, I'm putting my gym shoes and my gym shorts by the front door or whatever door you use to exit your home, and I'm going to see them every single time I leave the house, which is super obnoxious. Okay. So now you're getting like a little bit of a momentum. You got that chattery voice and now this visual reminder, I should go to the gym. Or 20 seconds of courage, giving yourself kick in the pants. Okay. Now you've put the shoes on and you have driven to the gym. Are you just going to sit there in the parking lot? Maybe you can, but you're already there. So you might as well go in. Another great analogy would be the classic breakup analogy. I've personally never gone through this kind of like ups and downs, but I know many people do. And it's what's portrayed in the media. So if you're like, yeah, I've also not gone through this, think to plenty of movies and TV shows you've watched, right? Where someone goes through a breakup, it's devastating. They feel like their life is over. They're in their bedroom, curtains closed, all hours of the day and night, crying, moping, watching bad TV, whatever it is. So maybe your next messy step, if you're the person in this breakup in your room, sad, alone, crying, is you get up to feed yourself or get a glass of water or, just like the bare minimum to stay alive. Awesome, dude, you're crushing it. You just went through a thing. I get it. Next messy step, staying alive. Nailed it. 20 seconds of courage is putting on nice clothes and leaving the house. Ooh. All right. Yeah, that's a bigger one. Because, what if someone sees you who knows that you just went through a breakup and they're going to ask you about it? Oh, terrifying. So sometimes we need an accountability tool. And in fact, I personally feel like we basically always need accountability tools when we're trying out new things. My accountability tools tend to be pretty internalized. I'm a pretty internalized person, very introverted. I get a lot from just hanging out with myself, journaling, doing things, minimal externalizing. But if the breakup was, okay, maybe you couldn't have gotten yourself out of that bed to put on the nice clothes and leave the house. Maybe you needed your bestie to come over and drag you out of bed. It's like the movies, shove you in the shower, hand you a burrito, and be like, bitch, we're going outside in the most loving kind of way, right? So maybe you're listening to this and you're like, all right, next messy step. I get it. Like, it's not that bad and no one has to see it. But the 20 seconds of courage is probably going to be something that's more visible. It's probably going to be me doing something that freaks me out a little bit. Maybe 20 seconds of courage is signing up for that conference to give a talk or giving the talk, right? Like, there's no law that says once you're at a conference, you have to give the talk. We just sort of assume that we do. But literally, like, you could just run away. Don't do that. Just give the talk. 20 seconds of courage, dude. You got this. So maybe an accountability buddy would be really helpful. Like, have a friend that you like, and you're going to text that friend every day for a week. Hey, I did the thing. Or, hey, 20 seconds of courage. This is what I did. And that friend's going to text you back, right? So now you have someone that they're trying, they're pushing themselves just a little bit or a lot bit every day. Some things can be tiny, some things can be massive. It doesn't matter. You can just do tiny things to start with. It's great. But you're just telling the world, one friend, hey, I did the thing. For me, I do like the accountability I've been doing through this podcast, which is these 30-day social media challenges, posting every day for 30-ish days. I think I went slightly over on my last one, kind of lost track, but that's fine. 30-ish days on social media about my next messy step was the last one. So 20 seconds of courage will be this one. For me, this is a great accountability tool. Whether 2 people see it, 0 people see it, or 2,000 people, 200,000 people, I know I'm out there doing it. Occasionally I get a small amount of encouragement, and that's cool, but it's just a good reminder and a good way of building in the habit. And I like the 30 days because 30 days has basically been long enough to cement in the habit. If you look back at my other episodes that I've done, social media challenges, I'm still doing, a 15-ish to 20-ish minute curiosity every day, right? What am I curious about today? And I've also done kind of more structured curiosities like, hey, this month I'm going to focus on curiosities related to systems engineering because this is still a pretty new field to me and I'm still getting the hang of it, that kind of thing. I'm still taking next messy steps every day. So I'm excited. I'm going to do the 30-day social media challenge. I strongly encourage you, invite you, please, like if that sounds good, or even if that sounds a little scary, well, okay, that's day one, 20 seconds of courage, boom, posted on social media what you did, and that you're doing a 20 seconds of courage challenge. Tag me. I would love to reshare, or don't tag me. That's fine. Just do it for yourself. Either way. Some things that I'm going to try to do over this 30-day period, I have been procrastinating and avoiding like crazy on reaching out to some amazing potential guests for the podcasts. There are people out there. I mean, of course, there's so many people in STEM out there that do phenomenal things. So interesting, so fun. I have a long list and I keep thinking, I need to like do something. Anyways, just a lot of Muppet voices in my head, kind of like coming up with all these bullshit reasons why I'm not reaching out to them, which is not great. I don't love that. I did finally make a website. I'll link it in the show notes. It looks pretty. There is a platform that's literally like, this is for podcasters. And sure enough, with very minimal input, it updates every week with my newest episode. It looks pretty nice. I like the colors. I'm happy as a clam. So that's pretty cool. I have a website. Why does that matter? Well, now I feel like I have sort of this like legitimate landing page to be like, hey, dear, amazing, incredible guest who's like literally published in the National Geographic. Would you come on this small but growing, science focused, engineering focused, STEM focused podcast? And yeah, I fully expect that many people will never respond. Other people will politely respond with a thank you, but not at this time. But maybe a few people will say yes, and that will be so freaking cool. So that's some of the things that I'm going to work on, are being a little bit more bold in my podcast. I have some things at work, some proposal type things, decisions that I can also be a little bit more bold in. So it'll be really interesting to see how the month shakes out for me, how I feel at the end of the month. I'm not saying that having to do something that kind of freaks me out every day is like a sustainable lifetime thing, but maybe it is. Maybe after the 3 days, I'm like, damn, that was great. I'm gonna do this every day. Or maybe I'm like, hey, you know what? It would be better if I had sort of a 5 and 2, 5 days of courage, 2 days off, or whatever. So I will update on that. But here we are, careening to the end of the podcast. And you know me, I love to give you that kind of learn and move your feet. So we've listened to some ideas. This week's episode, fairly straightforward idea, this 20 seconds of courage. So what's the action? Well, I'm going to challenge you to try it for a week and do it in a way that someone else knows about it. It could be one friend, it could be social media, it could be your cat. That's maybe not as bold as you could be, but you know what? If that's where your starting point is, that's where your starting point is. You're gonna do something that freaks you out just a little bit. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe signing up for something 6 months in the future, maybe emailing a potential collaborator, whatever it is. Try it for a week. See if you like it. If you kind of liked it, or if you're like, there's a tiny amount of benefit, try it for a month. Or try it 5 days on and 2 days off, right? During the weekdays, don't do it on the weekends, for a month. Whatever that looks like you, that feels comfortable, but also feels like a stretch. The whole point of this episode is to slightly stretch ourselves. We did our next messy step, and if you haven't done that, hell, maybe that's where you start. Maybe you go back, you listen to the next messy step, you're like, this is cool, or you already got it, you don't need to listen to it. Either way, try next messy step for a week. Be like, cool, I'm making some progress. Maybe do it for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks of 20 seconds of courage. There's so many ways you can combine these two, what I feel like are really helpful ideas. the next messy step has already helped me a ton. It had helped me before I recorded that episode. This 20 seconds of courage thing, it pops into mind occasionally, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I got to do the thing, boom. So it does help and has helped, but I think the 30 days is really going to build that habit, build that muscle of just like, all right, you just got to flex and be a little braver every single day. And then, if I reach out to 30 really cool guests who have no idea who I am, do you know how much easier it is going to be by guest 30 that I'm reaching out to versus guest one? Guest one, I'm going to overthink. I'm going to freak out a little bit. I'm going to be like, oh my God, how do I email? How do I introduce myself? Which email account do I use? All these decisions. By guest 30, I'm just going to be like, what up? I already got like half a stock email, but I'm going to personalize this because I'm a person behind this. I'm not AI. I care about you, and I care about you coming on my podcast. And I hope that you come on someday. It's going to be really cool. So thank you so much for listening. As I already mentioned, podcast not affiliated with my teaching and research roles at Colorado State University. Music, as always, is by Excess Sass. Hang out with me on Instagram at STEM Identity or LinkedIn, Anna Lily Hotshire. There's only one, so I'm very easy to find. I would love to hang out with you. Please DM me if you've got exciting ideas. If you've got a 20 seconds of courage for me, dude, let's talk. I'd love to try it out. And if you hang out to the very end, I always give a song of the week. Music is probably the most important thing, the most consistent thing in my life. I can be having a good day, a bad day. Music is almost always on. You can tell when I'm really overstimulated because I'm just like doing things in silence. And it's weird. I'm like, oh, where's my music? So this one, it's a bit of a story, and there's going to be 2 songs out of this. So hang out with me for a minute. So I have friends that I share music with, which I love. It's one of my favorite ways to connect with a friend is through music. So a friend sent me a song, I think about a week ago. It was a great song. I loved it. I listened to it. I was like, this is cool. It'll probably be a song of the week another week, but not this week because we're going somewhere with this story. So listen to the song. I'm like, dude, this song's so great. Thanks for sending it to me. And then I'm working on something and I have it on Spotify, and it was a single, not like an album or anything in an album. So Spotify, I just kind of randomly selected another song from the same artist. I was like, great, dude, do your thing, Spotify. Still working. Spotify chooses the 3rd song, and I'm instantly cued in. I'm like, whoa, hold on. That sounds like a cover of the very amazing Jupiter 4 by Sharon Van Etten. If you don't know Sharon Van Etten, she's great. I love her. Check out her music. And her song Jupiter 4, which is this really cool, ethereal, airy, spacey, vibey song. I absolutely love it. I covered it through Excess Sass. If you're super interested, I could probably post that, but maybe that'll be one of my 20 seconds of courage. There you go. Tying it all back in. Post my version of Jupiter 4, which I call Jupiter 5. So I open up Spotify and I'm like, yeah, okay, this song is called Jupiter by someone I haven't heard of, Donna Missal or Missile. I apologize if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I guess it's a cover, but then I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't assume that Donna's song is a cover of Sharon's song. So what were the years? And the years were like back to back. So I'm like, it's impossible to tell. So I Googled this, and I was so excited because this Jupiter and Jupiter 4 by Donna Missal and Sharon Van Etten is a collaboration. The 2 collaborated to build the song, and then they both made their own versions. They're the same yet so different. They're such fun covers. I love a good cover that takes an original song, or in this case, takes 2 songs and just splits them, and you're like, that's totally the song, but it's so different. Donna's version is snappy, it's upbeat to Sharon's very ethereal, airy, spacey, vibey song. They're both fun. Love them both. Check them out. All the links are always in the show notes. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to hear about your 20 seconds of courage. Even if you don't want to, hell, you know what? If you have made it this far and you're still listening and you're like, I don't want to tell like anyone who actually knows me, this is weird, I'll be your accountability buddy. Any day, any week, doesn't matter what year it is. Find me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Message me, be like, can I like text you my weird 20 seconds of courage for a week? And I'm like, awesome. I will not text you anything else unless you want to have a conversation. I won't be weird about it, or DM me, whatever it is. I want to hear about it because we're all amazing people and we can all do really cool things. So thanks for hanging out, and we will talk again next week.